Ever stop to think how much those little impulse buys on your phone are adding up to, and how many subscription payments are sneaking out of your bank account every single month? Before I started using Rocket Money, let me tell you, I had no idea. But the first time I logged in, I saved $435. I couldn't believe it. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. I just love the dashboard. It shows everything in one place, even the subscriptions you forgot you signed up for. And if there's something you don't need, Rocket Money helps you cancel it. Plus, it alerts you if a bill increases or if something unusual pops up in your account. It's basically like having a personal assistant for your money. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/Kim today. That's rocketmoney.com/Kim. rocketmoney.com/Kim.
Welcome to the Kim Komando Show podcast for the weekend of September 2nd, 2023. Thank you for being a community member. Here's hour one.
All right, then I always like to kick things off with something super fun and interesting. And what is the newest buzzword that Gen Zers are using? Have you ever heard of Rizz? Well, if you haven't, well, you should start using it. What does Rizz really mean? It's a word that describes someone who's unique. They're captivating. They have charisma. Get it? That's where the Rizz comes from. The Wall Street Journal found one mom where she said that she thought her son had an STD after he said, "Yeah, I got the Rizz." So don't be alarmed if the kids in your family start saying the Rizz. It's not a drug. It's not an STD. It's just Rizz as in charisma. That's right. Which reminds me, why do certain people become accountants? Why do certain people become accountants? Are you ready? They don't have the charisma to be an undertaker. Womp womp. Yes. And on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Kim Komando Show because, after all, I'm Kim Komando, America's beloved digital goddess, here with you. It's the biggest show. It's the best show. It's the most trusted show about all things digital. And get ready to boost up your tech game because in our world, every single thing is now a tech thing. Now, if you're a first-time listener, a big friendly welcome to you. And to our family of regular listeners, welcome back. I missed you. And get ready for a ride with this award-winning show on over 420 premium radio stations scattered across the United States. Now, if you prefer streaming, just hunt for Komando in your favorite radio app, and you got me. Now, if you want a webcast or a podcast without any pesky commercials, just scoot over to Komando.com and you want to spot that button that's labeled Komando Community. Click on that and you're going to be all set for an ad-free experience. And a big hello and salute goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, reaching over 375,000 U.S. service members serving in 175 countries and 200 ships at sea. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And if you're just too dang shy to come on a big-time podcast and radio show, hey, I get that. You can drop me your question over at the website. That's Komando.com, of course. And then there's a button that says Email Kim. Every single day, I visit at least 30 to 35 different websites to make sure that we are both up to date on everything that's happening in the tech universe. And here are 5 things that you need to know that it's happening right now. And we're going to start with a brand new, exciting movement in cryptocurrency. I want you to take a listen to this advertisement floating around on social media. And it's where Elon Musk and Bill Maher are talking about his new crypto platform. Here, listen.
Quantum AI is a new project that will help users increase their income exponentially without active participation.
Is this a closed software package? No, we have made it available to everyone. Every Canada with a phone or computer with an internet connection can use our software.
Does it sound a little off? And not really. I want you to hold onto your credit cards, folks, because that's a deep fake ad. Elon Musk is not promoting some type of crypto investment. This is just one in a wave of deep fake scams that have finally hit social media. Just this past week, NBC News reported finding over 50 videos scattered across Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, featuring these deep-faked images and voices of celebrities. So they're all designed to scam you right out of your money. And the bottom line is for this. Don't blindly trust any ad that you see on social media, especially if it features a celebrity, diving into areas that they normally wouldn't. I mean, this particular ad and others like it, they had Gayle King in it. I mean, really, she's talking about crypto? No, not really. So do your homework and do all your research before you reach for that wallet. Number 2 on our list, what's going on with our eyeballs? If you think your kids are scrolling on their smartphones and it's just warping their focus, it's changing the shape of eyes. Myopia, also known as nearsightedness, is on the rise. When you don't get enough natural light, your eyes actually grow longer. It makes it harder for you to see objects in the distance clearly. So the World Health Organization says by 2050, half the population, get this, will be nearsighted. That's up 30% from today. The culprit is screen time. But here's what you can do. First, make screen breaks a thing in your house. Set up timers, parental controls, and, go outside and play a good game of catch. I really think about this because when I was with my doctor at UCLA, I explained to him, I've been on a screen since I was probably 8 or 9 years old. And let me just say, I'm a certain age at this point. And he said, because some of my optic nerves are kind of big. And I really think it's because of spending all these days and nights in front of screens. But it reminds me of an old joke. A Polish man was getting his eyesight tested. The optician brings out a card with the letters CRWINOKSTASKI. And the optician says, "Can you read the letters?" And the Polish man says, "Read the letters? I actually know this guy." That was a good one. All right, number 3, let's go back to the subject of deep fakes. Before we start, I have to tell you, I'm going to be talking about Donald Trump. I don't want to hear from any one of you to say, "Oh, you did that because you love Trump. Oh, you did that because you hate Trump." Don't even think of sending me a note. Don't even think about it because I'm just going to go right in the trash. But the reason why I have to bring this up is Trump has a new rap song. You heard me. It's called First Day Out. It's about his arrest, and it has shot up to number 2 on iTunes. Here, I want you to listen to just a bit of it.
I don't bail, I won't see inside a cell. Shut up, thugger, free my slime, slat, YSL. They tryna lock me up, but I'm plugged in ATL. Got homies doing life in jail, They living in hell.
It was created by an artist, Hi-Rez, and it was released under the name Trump the Don. He released it as a joke after he made about 30 minutes, and now it has, I don't know how many views and streams. The last number I saw was over 5 million. So no, Donald is not rapping like that. It's all a deep fake voice of Donald Trump. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is that it's just a clue into what the election cycle is going to be like. It's just going to be insane. So you have to be really on your A game not to fall for these AI ads. And just to be clear, this is not about my personal views of Donald Trump. Okay, it's noteworthy to observe a former president's fake voice making waves in the digital music industry. Moving on to number 4, students, your principal has a TikTok too. Principal Nikita Richard, she's not just keeping an eye on hallway behavior, she's actually recording the kids on TikTok. That's right. So Alan and Alex were showing off their outfits in the bathroom, and then she says, "This is why you two are tardy, and both of you making a guest appearance in my office tomorrow." She's putting this on TikTok, and she has like 1 million followers. Now, I don't know about this whole strategy to keep the kids in grade school in line if you're going to be making a video about them and putting it on your popular TikTok channel. I mean, kids may be acting up just to get notoriety, right? They may just be doing that because this way they are Insta-famous. And finally, this coming in at number 5, when it pays to have a dash cam. Okay, Mason Berger took his BMW convertible to a repair shop near Seattle. All it needed was a standard tune-up, but when he got his car back, he noticed something was wrong with the stereo. Then he checked his dash cam. What he discovered looked like an action movie scene. The footage showed the mechanic not only cranking up the tune so loud that it could damage the speaker, but also sailed through 2 red lights. Then he hit a speed of 113 miles per hour on the highway. After an hour and a half, the mechanic returned the car to the shop just like it was just normal. He just took it around the block for a test spin. So Berger was outraged. He said he felt violated. So the next time you drop your car off, here's what I want you to do. Take a picture of the mileage, video the entire car. If you have a dash cam, make sure that you turn it on. And also put an AirTag in the car because this way, If the car leaves the repair shop, you get an automatic alert. So you're sitting there, you're on Instagram, and you're just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And of course, you see all those great photos of all these great dishes, right? And then how about the travel feeds? And oh my gosh, I see so many golden retriever pics and videos on my Instagram feed because obviously I love my golden Abby. Now, what if you're scrolling through Instagram and you start seeing ads for other things like hard drugs, weapons, scams, stolen credit cards? Well, that's exactly what happened to our next guest here on the Kim Komando Show, Jason Kebler. He's a journalist at 404 Media, and he was the former editor-in-chief at Vice's Motherboard. Jason, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. So when did you first start seeing these ads?
Yeah, this happened about a month ago, and I was doing exactly what you said. I was clicking through my friends' travel photos, feeling a lot of FOMO, and I saw this in the stories. I saw an ad for this guy who was standing in front of a Chase Bank, and he had these huge stacks of $100 bills, like, taped together or banded together, and it said, "Come join me," or something like that. And I was like, this is very sketchy. So I clicked through, and it took me directly to Telegram. And once I was in Telegram, he was selling stolen credit cards. He was selling hacked accounts. He was selling hacked like Uber accounts and American Airlines accounts. So, you could sort of steal people's airline points and things like that. And ever since I clicked on that, I've been getting exactly what you said. Almost all of my ads have been for drugs, stolen credit cards, hacked accounts. I've even seen ads for automatic weapons.
So was the algorithm taking over?
It was definitely the algorithm taking over. By clicking on the ad, I was showing Instagram that I was interested in these sorts of things, which is the truth. I mean, I didn't want to buy drugs, but I'm a journalist and I write about content moderation and illegal content a lot.
So if you were able to click on an ad where the guy's selling, like you said, stolen credit cards and flashing wads of $100 bills saying, you too, sitting at home in the comfort of your computer chair, could be driving this Rolls Royce and wearing this Rolex. And even though Meta, Facebook, whoever, they have these rules of engagement, these guidelines that say we're not going to accept advertising on this and don't even try to do it, that obviously it's still letting the likes of these ads and these people get through, right?
Yeah, so even though this stuff is technically banned on Meta, all of its platforms, which includes Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, they're getting through, and they're getting through it in a systemic way. So these scammers, the criminals, a lot of them are figuring out how to bypass Facebook's moderators. And something that I found is, first of all, it's one thing for this to show up on your feed organically. The thing that is really interesting to me, not only is Meta showing it in the Instagram feed, but they are making money to advertise drugs on their feeds. And so something is deeply broken where they're not able to detect this stuff in order to take it down before it gets injected into users' feeds.
But how could an ad for meth get through? I mean, certainly there's got to be some words that's going to trigger something. I mean, we have that with parental control software. I mean, that's the thing that really surprised me, because some of the ads I saw shocked me. Was I saw a lot of ads that just said MDMA in huge letters, stacks of psilocybin mushrooms. I also saw trash bags full of weed. So it was like pretty blatant in a lot of cases. And the experts who I spoke to were shocked that this stuff was not caught right away. Like they didn't know how it could possibly be this way. And that's still a mystery. I mean, I went on, Meta has an ad library where you can look up what ads are currently running. 5 minutes before I called into your show, I looked it up, and the first ad that I saw was for hacked credit cards. So they still haven't fixed it. So what is the fix? I mean, their excuse is always, we are processing so many different ads, and, it's the algorithm. It's not working. There's a glitch in the algorithm. I mean, they've always got some excuse, but yet here we are. They have billions of users, literally, making I don't know how much money lately. And they always go back to, we can't put a person there, or there's only so much we can do.
Yeah. I don't think that excuse makes sense here, because we are talking about them accepting money from these criminals. Like, this is adding to Meta's bottom line. I think it is one thing when just a normal user publishes something that, has illegal content and there's no sort of review process, I don't think it makes sense to review individual users' posts before they go up. But in this case, Facebook says that it has an ad review process where these ads need to be approved before they go onto the platform. Clearly, something is broken here. And I think that because Meta is taking money for this sort of thing, they need to be able to catch this before it goes live. It just doesn't make sense to me that they're not able to. I know that they're processing thousands and thousands of ads a day, probably millions, but this is, Meta makes billions and billions and billions of dollars every quarter. It's like they need to invest in technology to catch this stuff. I think you mentioned earlier, it's like we have child filters, we have parental guards. Those aren't perfect either, but some of the stuff that's getting through is so blatant that I'm shocked that they are not catching it before it's approved.
And you have to remember that Meta is a public company. They have a responsibility to their shareholders to make sure that this junk doesn't get through. But again, for some reason, I'm not really sure what it is, Jason, that we just seem to give big tech companies a free ride. I mean, imagine if you went on the GM website, okay, or the CBS News website, and you saw an ad for an Escort, or you saw an ad embedded somewhere on the screen of the car for meth. Okay, everybody be like, oh my God, that's General Motors. They can't be doing that. All of a sudden it's like, oh, that's Facebook Meta. It's okay. We just will tell the kids not to click there.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. The article has gotten a lot of attention, and a lot of people have said, "Wow, this is crazy." But they haven't ignored it because they are taking some of the stuff down, but they are not catching it with any regularity. Like, I'm still seeing this stuff all the time.
So if folks listening, watching, they want to read your story and learn more about it, how can they do that?
Yeah, please go to 404media.co. We're doing very serious privacy surveillance and reporting on stories like this.
So, you know what? It's a big story. It's a big topic. Jason, thanks for all your hard work and thanks for being here. So what can you do if you ever see ads like this in your feed? The biggest thing that you can do is always to report the ad. Okay, it just takes a second. And yes, it does get into the algorithm. So again, anytime you see an ad, you say, this should not be here. Just hit that big old report button. We talk about hackers here a lot on the Kim Komando Show because I always want to keep you guys and gals safe, and I always have your back. And they are just constantly waiting for this good moment to swoop in on your hard-earned cash. Now, if you don't know already, yes, you do need a VPN. That's short for Virtual Private Network. And what this means is that when you're doing your banking online, hackers just can't step in the middle and steal your money. Now, if you're already using a VPN, you're right on track, but you can take it to the next level, what's called a double VPN. You're like, what is that, Kim Komando? It's called a multi-hop. It adds an extra layer of encryption and anonymity to your online activity. Here's how you do it. You sign up for a VPN service that supports multi-hop connections, like ExpressVPN, and that's our recommended VPN here on the show. Then you connect to your first VPN server, and then once you're connected, you connect to the second one from right within the app or the software. So this way, it's even more difficult for anyone to trace your activity back to your IP address. And by the way, ExpressVPN, you do get 3 months free if you go to expressvpn.com/Kim. All right, coming up in just a few minutes, how you can digitize your most important documents. I'm talking about all those important papers that you might have, and they're outside your devices, but now we need to get them inside for safekeeping. And then later on, speaking of hackers, they got a new trick up their sleeve I got to warn you about. They're actually hiding malicious Word documents inside PDF files. So it's like a file within a file. Yeah, I know. It didn't make a lot of sense to me when I first heard about it, too. All right, Deborah in Kona, Hawaii. Aloha.
I sent you a question regarding the fires in Maui and personal possessions lost. I'm not on Maui, but I care about them,
Sure. Everybody, you know what? Let me tell you something. The thing about the islands that and people on the mainland, they don't appreciate, as I've lived part-time on Maui, is that it's like one big ohana. I know it's hard to imagine, and people are listening now in Los Angeles and Chicago and Miami and Atlanta, and it's really hard to describe this sense of community that exists on the islands and between the islands, where
that's true.
everybody takes care of each other as if they are their own brother or sister. It's it's the only place that I've ever experienced that is when I lived on Maui. Really, truly.
It is wonderful, isn't it?
You know what? It is. It is. I will tell you that I was shipping a car. Last time I was on Maui, I shipped a car to Arizona. And I was at the port there in Kahului. And I needed to get a ride back to the terminal because I was taking a flight out. And I went to get an Uber, and they said, no, we're sorry, we can't get through the port. And then I was standing outside, and I'm like, oh gosh, how am I going to get a ride to the terminal? And, and this guy from the port comes over and says, hey Kim, you need a ride? I'll take you. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. It's like, thank you.
So great.
It's like, and you don't have to worry about getting in a car with a stranger, and it was just, it's really wonderful. But to have that sense of community, and I've heard, which this morning I was texting some friends on Maui, but they're in a bad spot, and I've been encouraging everybody to go to Maui, go to Hawaii, because the tourism is needed for that economy.
Absolutely.
And by staying away, it's not doing them any good. And I wish that I could go. I went for a run this morning, and I was thinking, how can I get there? But I had a cornea transplant a couple of months ago, and pretty much advised not to travel until I get my stitches out, which is October 3rd, and I'm super excited about that. So after I get my stitches out of my cornea, I'm going to be hightailing over there to see what I can do and other things I can help. But I know you didn't call to talk about that, but how can I help you?
Book that ticket, Kim. Okay, the reason I sent you the question, I'm concerned about us here on the Big Island. If there's a tragic happening, it could be a hurricane, it could be flooding,
volcano.
It could be anything, and we lose our phones, and they're damaged. We can't get to our contacts. How do we access our contacts if we don't have our phone?
That's a really good question, because we don't memorize phone numbers anymore.
That's true.
And this is going to sound really horrible, but I had to put my son's cell phone number on a form not too long ago, and I actually had to look it up. I'm like, dang, I don't know what his phone number is, Yeah,
we just push a button and it calls go through. Yeah.
So what we're going to do is just always keep in mind that if you have an Android phone, your contacts are backed up to Google Contacts automatically. So if you go to contacts.google.com, you can find them. If you're on an iPhone, they're going to be available over at iCloud.com.
Okay.
One of the things that you might want to do is periodically, as you export all of your contacts into, say, a CSV file or even a Word doc. There's ways to do this on both platforms. And then you email yourself your contacts file. So the whole idea is as long as you have access to your email, you got access to your contacts. And the same thing if you have access to the internet, contacts.google.com or iCloud.com. Then there's the old school way. Remember that? We would have a small physical address book. Okay. It's it's a little outdated, right? But
yes.
That is something. One of the things that you also might want to do is you just consider, if you have an older phone, is just keep that phone charged and stored in a safe location as a backup. And then you can make sure that it has essential contact numbers. An old phone, you don't need to put the cellular service on it. It will always be able to call 911 without a cell plan. So that's maybe just an idea to keep that as a backup. But, the idea of, how do I access my contacts? It's something real. I mean, people in Maui, they lost everything, especially, in so many different places, and not just Lahaina, but also, upcountry and Kula. So again, you're going to have them in your cloud account on Android as well as iOS. But, think about, like I mentioned, just emailing a copy of your contacts to yourself so you always have that backup. Deborah, thank you so much for your call. And by the way, folks, if you want to help the people on Maui, as I mentioned, consider taking a trip over there. I did some research recently for a show I was on talking about this as far as the airfare to and from Kahului, which is the main airport on Maui. And I found a flight from Los Angeles to Kahului for about $380, which was pretty cheap. So if you were thinking about taking a trip 6 months from now, if you can do it now, you'd really get a great plan. You'd get some great rates, as well as you'd be helping that community out in a time when they desperately need it. And we have links on ways that you can help also over at Komando.com. There is a special website to help all the folks in Maui. It's called kokuaformaui.com. Kokua means help in Hawaiian, kokuaformaui.com. It actually redirects you to the Red Cross. And so if you have just a few bucks, make sure that you head over there and just help out our folks over on Maui. And if you need a vacation, now is a good time for you to go to Maui too. The airfares are incredibly cheap, as I mentioned, as well as the hotels, and they need that money. They need your tourism to support the economy. I wish I could go, but I can't go yet. I'm going to go as soon as I get these stitches out of my old eyeball after the transplant. All right, this week I thought it's really important for us to talk about the most important documents that you have in your life. I'm talking about birth certificates, marriage licenses, your Social Security card, really crucial paperwork. It's time to upgrade because maintaining all these paper documents to keep records straight, okay, it just is horrible. It just opens the door to loss and theft and damage and other issues. So how exactly do you digitize all your important documents? Okay, well, for example, you can use a scanner. One of the easiest ways to do that is to just pick one up from Canon, Epson, HP, Brother, whoever it may be. But these have wireless and internet connectivity, colored touchscreens, voice-activated controls, which is actually kind of sweet nowadays. And there's also ones that will handle multi-page documents in case you need to scan those. Now, if you don't want to go out and buy a scanner, hey, not a problem, okay? There are apps that you can use to scan documents instead. Now, if you are on an iOS device, use the Notes app. You have a document scanner built right into there, and it's really, really powerful. Just a tip when you're using it, you make sure that if it's a white paper, always put it on a dark background. I know, it's always kind of a pain in the neck. I always have to do mine on the floor because it seems like everything around my house is white. If you're not on an iPhone, you can use Adobe Scan. And then what's unique to it, it actually uses a little AI to identify and sharpen any handwritten text, which is super important. And then there's also Genius Scan. Now, in case you're looking for links to any of these, including Microsoft Lens, just head over to Komando.com, the official homepage of the show, of course. That's Komando.com. And then once you're there, you want to hit that button that says Show Pics. Oh, just one more thing about these digital documents. Okay, after you get them all on your computer, what I want you to do is make sure that you always save them up to the cloud, okay, or backup service, because this way, if your hard drive goes kaplunk, that you don't lose all your hard work. All right, David in Mesa, Arizona, glad to have you with us.
You had a piece here not too far back ago where you said, well, there's a way you can make up a QR code on your modem so that when people are in your house and they want to use your Wi-Fi, that they can just point their phone at the QR code and it will automatically hook them up.
Yeah, so that's why you're not sitting there going, you're not sitting there saying, okay, the network name is this and the password is this and it's upper, lower case, 1258 and whatever it may be. Yeah, it's so annoying. And so the whole idea is that you get this QR code and you print it out and you put it in a frame. And whenever anybody comes over, they can just point their phone, as you said, just point their phone right at it, and it signs them automatically right into the network. What kind of phone do you have?
Samsung S20, whatever the latest one is.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna send you these instructions. Okay, but Samsung and Android, they actually have a way that you can create a QR code right on the phone, and it's all in the settings menu. And then you can take a screenshot of the QR code, and then you can just save that out. And it's like settings, connections, Wi-Fi, network, and internet. You see where I'm going like this? It's like, oh my gosh, you got to go here, there. And then you're like, oh, there it is. Okay. And so it's like, whatever. And that's where you can, like I said, you can take a screenshot of the QR code that they put on there. Now, otherwise, You can just go to a website called QR Code Monkey. And again, it's called QR Code Monkey. And this is where you type in your network name and password, and it creates a QR code for you right there. As a matter of fact, I like this website because you could create a QR code for anything, a page on your website, a business card, your Facebook page, whatever it may be that you want a QR code for, does it right there for free. And again, the website's called QR Code Monkey. But hang on the line, David, because we're going to send you those steps on how to do it on that Samsung S22. And like all things Android, every once in a while, the steps that we put, your mileage may vary because they're all different flavors of Android. And they seem to tweak things just enough to make it annoying. And it does. So again, that's the QR code, that website. One more time for everybody, QR Code Monkey. Dave, thanks for your call. Before we leave the topic of QR codes, I just want to give you a warning, is that the hackers and the scammers have figured out yet another way to steal from you using QR codes. So you park your car, and then you put some money in the meter, and then you go wherever you need to go. And then suddenly there's a QR code that's sitting right there. It says, oh, you didn't have enough money in the meter for the time that was spent, and so scan this QR code, and then we'll make sure that everything's taken care of because you can pay the city directly through here. Not, especially if that QR code is just on a fake label, a piece of paper, and it may even be there when you actually park and you see the whole parking meter is covered by some paper that says QR code. So just be really, really careful wherever you go, especially with now these QR codes, because as you heard, they're just so easy to create nowadays. All right, you already know that clicking on a Word document attached to an email is a really easy way to get your system hit by malware or stalkerware, but now hackers are turning to a much simpler technique that you need to know about. They found a way to sneak bad software into your computer using PDF files, and the PDF files contain hidden Word documents that actually do the harm. So you're actually opening two documents at once. And so when you open the PDF file in Microsoft Office, that's how and when the malware gets activated. It's called MalDoc in PDF. Now, the clever part is that these files look totally normal to most security checks. So it's hard to know that they're dangerous until it's too late. So what you want to do is make sure that you turn off macros in Microsoft Office, because these files can look and act like two different type of files, and it makes it really tricky to spot. So once again, in your security settings, just turn off macros inside Microsoft Office. And be sure to tell 3 friends about the Kim Komando Show, because knowledge is power, and you can find me at komando.com. If you own a home, listen up. This is scary. The FBI is warning about a crime on the rise: home title theft. And it doesn't happen the way you might think. No break-ins, no stolen keys, just a forged signature on a single piece of paper filed with the county. In minutes, criminals can transfer the title out of your name, then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your home. The worst part, most people don't know what's happening until they get collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. When you visit HometitleLock.com/Kim, you'll get a free title history report and a 14-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, including 24/7 monitoring of your home's title, urgent alerts to changes, and if fraud does happen. Their U.S.-based restoration team will work to restore your title, covering costs up to $1 million. Don't wait. Protect your home and equity today. Get your free 14-day trial at HometitleLock.com/Kim. That's HometitleLock.com/Kim.
Thank you for listening. Here is hour 2.
I always like to start with something interesting, and this number totally got my attention. $749 million, right? Whoa, that's a lot of money. You know what I'm talking about is that when you go get your food or your groceries, that there's always somebody there, something on the pad that says, hey, would you like to donate $2, $5, or $20 to whatever charity or whatever they're trying to raise money for. Well, last year, the companies in the U.S., as I mentioned, raised $749 million from donations at these various checkout places. I mean, I get it. It's always for a good cause. But for everyone listening, you don't have to donate if you don't want to. You're not a bad person for not doing so. And I have to tell you this, a new supermarket opened near my house. It's really kind of sweet. It has an automatic mister to keep all the produce fresh. And just before it goes on, you hear like the sound of distant thunder and the smell of rain. Then when you pass the milk case, you hear like cows moving. And then you smell like this fresh hay. And then in the meat department, there's the aroma of charcoal grilled steaks with onions. And all this is fine and dandy, but I'll tell you, I don't buy my toilet paper there anymore. Just saying. And on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this. It's America's largest, biggest, the most trusted show about all things digital. I'm, of course, Kim Komando, your digital goddess, here with you once again. And get ready to supercharge your tech wisdom because, let's face it, every single thing is now a tech thing. And to all the fresh ears tuning in, we're over the moon to welcome you to our show and to our season's friends who've been here before. It's great to have you back into our Tech Talk family. And so you can prepare to dive into my award-winning show on over 420 of the finest radio stations across the United States. And for all you streamers out there, just simply pop Komando into the search bar of your go-to radio app, and presto, there I am. And if you're yearning for a commercial-free podcast or webcast, just head over to Komando.com, and then you want to find that button that says Komando Community. And a special shout-out goes to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, serving more than 375,000 American servicemen and women in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force, in 175 different countries. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And as always, just a reminder, you can always drop me your questions on our website. There's a big button that says email Kim@Komando.com. Every single day, I check out at least 35 different websites to make sure that you and I are both up to date on what's going on in the digital world. And here are 5 things that you need to know that's happening right now. Starting with, have you ever received a text message from a number that you don't recognize? We all have, right? And instead of resorting to the new phone, who is this response, there's a hack that you need to know about. It actually comes from TikTok. Liz Perez, she put it on her channel and just totally blew up. If you get a text from an unknown number, mobile payment apps like Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, or PayPal, they can help you put a name to that number. You just copy and paste the number into the app, and wow, the mystery sender's name just might pop up. I tested this out on a number that I knew, and someone had Venmo, and it just totally ratted them out right there. Now, the hack only works if you have an account with one of those mobile payment apps, and the sender has to use their real name and number in the app for this to work. But there's a flip side to this. Security tip time. Be sure that you pop into your payment app and turn off letting those apps have all of your contacts. That's how this is working. So like, for example, in Venmo, in your settings, under Friends and Social, I want you to toggle off phone contacts. It's toggled on by default, so you've got to go in there and turn it off, okay? Like, for example, again, in Venmo, Settings, Friends and Social, toggle off phone contacts. Number 2, let's go to Atlanta for this story. Since June, Katie Bennett has had more than 40 people knock on her front door, and they're showing up with trucks and trailers, and they want one thing, folks. The washer and dryer they think that they purchased for steel for about $250 on Facebook Marketplace. Katie has to let them down each time, saying, nope, there's no washer and dryer here. It's a Facebook scam that you have fallen for. So she's opened up a case with Meta. And you think that Facebook would take care of this? Nah, this is big tech. They don't care. She tried to find the guy doing it. So now what she did, it went old school. She put a big old sign right in her front yard that says, no washer and dryer. It's fraud. Report him. And all caps. That's it. We just don't have a washer and dryer. So, word to the wise is that if you're buying a washer and dryer or anything on Facebook Marketplace, be sure that you know that you're actually paying that person, do your homework, do a reverse image search, all that other good stuff. And don't be giving them your credit card number either. Number 3 on our list, would you help me find my mommy, please? It's a parent's nightmare. Kelly Mulholland in Napa, California, her young son and her boyfriend's daughter were let off at the wrong school bus stop. They were lost and confused. They went from door to door. They started ringing video doorbells. And let me just give you a clue on what the kids were saying when they were dropped off. They had no idea where they were. Here, take a listen.
I'm sorry.
Would you help me find my mommy?
Oh, that's so sad. I mean, the poor little guy, help me find my mommy, okay? The mother, after an hour waiting at the usual bus stop with no sign of them, What? An hour she sat there saying, like, where's my kids? I'm not going. I mean, I would have sat there for 3 minutes and said, where's my kid? Anyway, she traced down the bus driver. The bus driver says, I don't know what you're talking about. Then an older student tipped her off that they saw the 2 young kids get off the bus at that particular stop. So she's about ready to go over that area. A neighbor rolls up with a clue. A Ring doorbell alert had popped up on his phone on his way home from work. Showed it to Kelly. Sure enough, it was her son. Finally, she found the kids. And sometimes what saves the day is just a doorbell cam. Or what you could do, if you're this type of parent that will sit at a bus stop for an hour waiting for your kid with no sign of them, I'll put an AirTag in their backpack. That's right. Okay, let's just do that. Put an Apple AirTag, a Tile tracker, so this way you always know where the little cherub is. Moving on to number 4, remote worker warning. Just because you're working from home still doesn't mean your boss is not monitoring you. If you have that mouse mover tracking software to make sure that everybody at the home office thinks you're actually doing something, listen up. There are now tools to catch that. A boss took to X saying he had to fire somebody for their mouse trickery. Employees are now using tools like Time Doctor. Nearly 300,000 employees around the world are being watched by this tech, according to Business Insider. JP Morgan has their own system. It tracks everything from attendance to how long it takes to write an email. Tesla workers told Bloomberg that they're tracked by how long they're on their computers. They even stopped going to the bathroom to avoid looking like they're taking breaks. Ouch. That's just the tip of the iceberg. So here's your warning. Your boss may know when you're slacking. And finally, this, coming in at number 5, just how easy is it to create AI images? Think back to last November. That's when ChatGPT was released. No one was really talking about AI then. There were generators, image creators, but it wasn't like the huge topic of conversation like it is right now. But AI is now the trend of the year. Here's something that should have photographers shaking in their boots. In just 6 months, the AI inside the app PixArt has been used to create over 500 million images. Whoa. Okay. More than 2 million images are made every single day. And the quality keeps getting better and better. Distorted faces, maybe having a hand with 8 fingers isn't really happening anymore. I mean, just imagine where all this tech is going to be in 6 months and a year. Really phenomenal. Which, speaking of, where do graphic designers go for a drink? Where do the graphic designers go for a drink? Anyone? AI CGI Fridays. Oh, yeah. All right, if you have a kid, I would bet you that they're playing Roblox. Now, if you're not familiar, it's this massively popular game. It's been around forever. And I'm not quite sure why I understand it, but the graphics, it doesn't look like Grand Theft Auto by any means. I mean, it's just like these blocks. I mean, think like Lego bricks, and the kids are obsessed with it. Now, it's not all just fun and games. There's a darker side to Roblox that I wanted to make sure that everybody's aware of, because scammers are always trying to find a way to scam. And they're actually targeting the kids on Roblox, and they're tricking them into downloading malware, even revealing sensitive information for these rewards. And joining us from human.org is Zach Edwards, whose research I ran across. And I thought, you know what, we need to have Zach on the show to talk about everything that he found out. So, Zach, you've been keeping tabs on this for a long time, right?
That's right. Unfortunately, this has been going on for years now. And so I have been monitoring how various kids and gamers are being targeted and sort of used to scam major corporations, banks, and conduct a bunch of nefarious activities. So it is unfortunately a long-term problem.
So give us some examples.
So the way that this problem sort of has grown is that this monetization and these scams are being run through what's known as a corporate threat actor. And it's basically a software as a service company called CPA Build. You sort of may sign up, create a website, host for your business or personal interests.
And pay a monthly fee.
And exactly. Pay a monthly fee and maybe grab a template from their system and customize it a little bit, and then launch your site. That same concept exists, but for scam websites, and specifically scam websites targeting kids and gamers.
That's just fascinating to me, Zach, that, you know, just like I can go to Wix or Squarespace or whatever, just fill in the blank. I mean, later.com, Hootsuite, I mean, just Because it used to be years ago that you'd actually have to like buy a program. Okay, you'd buy this software program, and then it was up to you to make sure that it was updated. It had all the latest features. You had to install it and configure it and all that other stuff. But now we don't have to do that anymore, because now we can just download an app and pay $10, $50 a month, whatever it is. And so just like we can use it for good means, that we have these malicious software as a service. So if you wanted to get into the Roblox malware distribution business,
unfortunately, there is a corporation that is providing services for you. And these templates, they're really slick looking landing pages with animations and graphics from the games. They look and feel really official, and they target Roblox, Minecraft, Fortnite, Call of Duty, pretty much all the most popular games. They're going to have certain scams targeted to them. And so this problem, because it's existed for so many years and there hasn't been enough coverage of it, there hasn't been actions to stop it, it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And now it's basically a network that has scams targeting every single major video game.
Wow.
And so why I'm here and why I've started to talk about this is obviously I have an interest in trying to protect the internet, but it's really challenging when threat actors are targeting kids. And so we really need to sit down and more folks having these conversations where you just sort of say, look, there's nothing in this world that's free. And I want you as my child or nephew or whatever sort of situation it may be where you're explaining these risks, help them understand that sometimes they may see a message in the game they're in, maybe a spam comment. Maybe they're viewing a YouTube video and there's a comment. Maybe they search something and the first results appear to be for the video game that they're trying to get some free currency from. And helping these young gamers appreciate that many times these are going to be scams, very subtle scams, but sometimes they can really create harms for these folks where they may try and push malware into your computer. They may try and get you to share your user data and they're going to sell it. And so,
that's a good point because, kids, they just don't know. I mean, they see it, they're playing this game, Minecraft, Roblox. Talk a little bit about those poison PDFs, please, John.
Yeah, absolutely. So the poison PDFs and how a lot of kids are finding these scams is due to the threat actors' sophistication with what's known as search engine optimization. Mm-hmm. And so the simplest way to think about it is these threat actors are compromising .gov, .org, and .edu websites. In any given day, they have dozens to hundreds of these. And within that infrastructure, they're uploading these PDFs filled with keywords that children search. Free Roblox, Minecraft currency, Fortnite bucks, various phrases. And so if you search them, they're going to show up on these .govs, these .orgs, these .edus right on the first page of results. And so if you click and open any one of these files, it will basically be a PDF that appears to be your portal to free content. And there'll be a few URLs in there, a little fancy headline. And if they click it, that person's going to be pushed into one of these malicious landing pages that tries to trick them into doing something.
So, Zach, if somebody's listening right now and they're like, okay, I want to share this with a person in my family, where can they learn more about it?
Wired.com covered this story. And so if you search Wired.com CPA build and visit the Wired.com article, that will be a good resource to share with people. There's some third parties that talk about the challenges and provide some more information. And in the coming weeks, we're hopefully going to be providing more and more resources as more folks sort of appreciate that there isn't a simple solution to nipping this problem in the bud. And so over the coming weeks and months, hopefully more solutioning maybe becomes available for parents and teachers.
Hey, Zach, thanks for being here. Important stuff that you shared today. Thank you. So hackers are going to hack. Okay, it doesn't matter if your kids are on Roblox or they're playing Minecraft, or whatever the kids are doing. The hackers are going to figure out a way to get in there. And so you want to make sure that you have this talk with your kids. I mean, don't be falling for, most of the time, it's like a free offer of something that they know that they should be paying for. So just tell your kids, if it's a freebie and you want it, show me the ad before you tap or click, because I don't want you to lose whatever you've created in these games. All right, we're going to dive into the very busy Reddit community called Am I the A-Hole? This is a place on Reddit where people tell their stories. They bear their deepest, darkest dilemmas, and then they ask the whole crowd, what's going on? Am I wrong? Am I right? Am I the a-hole? Am I not? Okay. Now it's time for you to put on the judge's hat. And once a week, I just handpick a fresh post for your consideration. And then the judgment falls on your shoulders. You have to say, are they or are they not the a-hole? But wait, there's more, because we have a special guest contestant just primed and ready, standing by, because they want to win the much coveted Kim Komando Show fanny pack if they are right. And joining us this week is Jesse in beautiful San Antonio, Texas. Hi there, Jesse. And what do you do in San Antonio?
I am an insurance agent.
Nice. Sweet. Okay, you're going to be good at this one. This question was left on Reddit for everybody to vote on, and it's about an Airbnb. Have you ever stayed at an Airbnb, Jesse?
No, I have not.
Oh, well, it's kind of like, go into somebody's house and you rent out their whole house for, a couple
I've heard
$100.
of them, but I haven't stayed, yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, let's start with the story. My husband and I stayed, this is not me, this is the person who wrote it. My husband and I stayed at an Airbnb while visiting my sister and her family. I made dinner our last night for everyone at the Airbnb. It was an outdoor area and we grilled. There were 5 people total, 4 adults and a 7-year-old. So my husband gets a random call on his phone and it's the Airbnb host, and they said there should be no parties ever. Well, we had some words with the owner calling him a total creeper. Then we called Airbnb, and they didn't really handle it. Then the owner tried to charge us $500 for having a party. This argument goes on, and we left him just a 1-star review. We complained. We filed fraud charges on my credit card, and we're trying to get the whole amount back. Well, it's been a process. We also filed a police report because of the creepy spying host. Now, I get it. He might want to have security cameras outside, but who actually watches a family eating and grilling? It's still an issue. He hasn't had his account reinstated. He sent us several emails trying to explain the situation, that we are putting him out of his income. Now, I might be an a-hole because I told him maybe he could get a job at the CIA since he likes spying so much on people, and now he's threatening to sue us over this. So, am I the a-hole or not?
Absolutely not.
And why not?
Because I would say I am not having a party. I'm just having a get-together with family and friends.
Yes, it wasn't a party, and they were outside, And then at the same time, maybe the Airbnb host said there shouldn't be any parties. Maybe he said only 2 people could stay there, but they were just there for the dinner party. But having security cameras and then monitoring them while somebody is there, that's kind of a strange thing, because there are other ways that you can see if there is a party at an Airbnb. Like a friend of mine, he's got a really beautiful Airbnb, and he actually has a camera at the front door that maybe counts how many people go in the house. There are other ways that you can do this type of thing. So,
right. And 5 people is not really a party. If it was 20 or 25 people, I'm possibly, but this is nothing more than possibly a family or just to get together. Okay?
But at the same time, she's kind of jibing him, saying, what, maybe you should go get a job at the CIA, dude. Right? I mean, calling him a creeper, kind of escalating things. And so you say that they're not, and the internet says, well, they're not sure, Jesse. That's coming up 50-50. Because half the people in the forum say she is, half of the people say she's not. And so, some advice is that, number one, if you do see cameras, you do call Airbnb immediately. You call the police. You file a police report because, again, this is your privacy. If you are in a public area, you do have no expectation of privacy. And so you always want to keep that in mind. But what you want to do is maybe be a little bit nicer and not so confrontational, because always remember, you can get more with honey, right, than going in and going after the jugular. So I probably would advise this person, if I were to see her, that next time just maybe be a little bit more polite and say, and just maybe not call people names, because we don't need to do that. All right. So, Jesse, you have a question for me. How can I help you out?
Yes, Kim, first of all, thank you very much. Long-time listener. I enjoy your show, and I've been wanting to go commando for quite a while. So,
excellent. Love that.
My question is, I am an insurance agent, and we have a new requirement from CMS for this year. Now, as part of the enrollment process for enrolling a customer is that we take information, we submit the information, we get back a report, and based on that report, we continue with the enrollment process. Now, that report, CMS wants us to get validation from the customer, and in fact, they want a signature from the customer that says that they agree with the report, and then we can continue with the enrollment. Now, that's a new challenge for us. 99% of my clients are, enrollments over the phone, and I would say probably 80-90% of my clients are not tech savvy. They don't have a computer. And so I'm trying to figure out what is the best way that I can get a signature from a client during the enrollment process. I've heard of DocuSign, but I don't know if that's the easiest or if there's other better ways.
Well, DocuSign has become so popular because anybody who has done any type of legal transactions, I'm sure, has seen DocuSign, especially if you're doing any type of real estate, Jesse. I mean, it's just kind of comes across the way it comes across your email, and you're like, just click, 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 sign, and then you're off on your way. There are some options. Well, one is called HelloSign. It's owned by Dropbox. I think they are in the process of a name change right now, so it's going to be called Dropbox Sign, but it's being used to called HelloSign. And there's also Adobe Sign. And so, which one do you use? Well, so many people are familiar with DocuSign, and that I would probably say, even though it's a little bit more expensive, because you said your folks are not computer savvy, they may have already seen DocuSign. If you are so inclined, what you could do is do a SurveyMonkey. And so, have you ever used SurveyMonkey?
As an end user, yes, but I have not set one up myself.
Yeah, so maybe what you do is you set one up, and you ask your clients, just take a couple of minutes and answer these questions for me. Number one, have you ever used DocuSign, HelloSign, or Adobe Sign? Because this way, it'll tell you which one that they're most familiar with. And then what you can do is ask them some other questions along the way. Are you looking for other insurance, right? Do you need to contact us for us to review your policies? And so you could make this part of a whole customer survey where you really get valuable information back. One of the things I like to do whenever we do a SurveyMonkey, and it's free, by the way, is that I leave a box and says, is there anything else that you'd like to tell us? Because let me tell you something, Jesse, if you put that box out there and you put it in front of your customers, they're going to tell you things. They may say, like, I don't like the way you do this, or I really like the way that you do this. One of the things that distinguishes between HelloSign and DocuSign, HelloSign is $20 a month, DocuSign is $15 a month. The reason why I said it's more expensive is that HelloSign gives you unlimited signature requests every month. DocuSign limits you to maybe 5 or 10 for that $15 a month. So if you're going to be doing a lot of clients, that's where you want to look at HelloSign. Now, there is something really exciting. I know. Like, what's exciting about DocuSign? Well, there's an exciting development. I know I'm using this one and I'm excited for it, is that with Google Workspace, and that's Google Docs and the whole Drive and everything that goes along with it, is that Google's now going to be rolling out their own DocuSign HelloSign service that is currently now in beta. And so you can sign up for the beta. You can try it out if you are currently a Google Workspace customer. So that may be another option for you. But I really think you're probably going to end up at DocuSign, especially if you say that your folks are older and they may not be all that savvy. Hey, thanks for joining us, and thanks for your kind words, and thanks for winning the Kim Komando Show fanny pack, because, hey, you said she was. The internet says we're not sure. And we're just going to throw you that fanny pack your way so that this way, as you said, you can go commando. All right. I want you to look around your house. Odds are you've got some old tablets, laptops, phones, routers, printers. Okay, we all accumulate a lot of digital junk. But did you know that there are places that you can trade in your old junk and then you can get discounts on the new stuff? We're going to start with Amazon. Amazon lets you trade in Kindles, Bluetooth speakers, headphones, anything really, and we'll put money in your pocket. Just want to make sure that you keep your stuff in pretty good condition. The more pristine it is, the more money, of course, that you're going to get back. And how do you get this money back? Well, you get an Amazon gift card, and then you can save up to 25%, that's a lot, on a new qualifying Amazon device. Now, Best Buy has a trade-in program too. They have large appliances as well. There's a portal over at the Best Buy's trade-in page that will kind of walk you through everything. Target, I thought this was interesting. They actually have a car seat trade-in that allows you to upgrade to a newer model. Twice a year, you can bring in an old, expired, or damaged car seat to Target and then recycle it. You can get 20% off one car seat, a stroller, or maybe even some baby gear. And of course, there's Walmart. They offer prepaid shipping labels, which means you can trade in. If dropping off an item just isn't possible, you can get a Walmart gift card equal to the value, whatever you're handing in. They do electronics and speakers and wearables and a whole bunch more. Now, if you're like, whoa, Kim Komando, you always talk so fast. How do I learn more about that? Well, head over to our website. That's komando.com. And when you're there, just hit the button that says Show Picks. Alrighty, then back to the phones we go with Mark in Fresno, California.
Well, I'm retired, and I'm thinking about moving to Spain. I lived there when I was in the Navy for 3 years, so I'm comfortable with it. But I don't know what the best answer for my cell phone is. Should I buy one, wait until I get over there and buy one there, or should I use a stateside phone and maybe just get a new SIM card, or what?
Well, what kind of phone do you have now?
Galaxy S20.
Okay. Do you like it?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. All right. So that's the first question is, number one, do we like the phone that we have? Because sometimes people call Mark and they'll be like, I have an iPhone 4. I'm like, oh, no, you don't. Okay. Not anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is you want to make sure that that phone's unlocked. And so you can check with your carrier, and it may only work with their network, depending upon what kind of plan and deal that you got. If it is unlocked, then you can take that phone with you. And as far as which phone plan is the best one, is that it seems to be that Vodafone has done a whole bunch of deals. And so, for example, if you go to Spain, you're going to get, obviously, a phone number, native to Spain. That when you come back to the United States, because you want to visit the kids and everybody else, is that phone will still work and you're not going to be charged extra for data. It really is it's a good deal. And again, the carrier over there is Vodafone, Vodafone, Vodafone. As far as cost, I mean, if you're looking at unlimited minutes, and then of course you may have to add some data, we're looking at the equivalent of maybe $20, $25 a month. And so it's very affordable. And some of these plans also include HBO Max, Amazon Prime Video, and Disney. So when you start looking at it, in Spain, they're more inclined to include other things than they may be here in the United States. And so you may find that differently. You may see that it operates differently over there. Which part of Spain are you going to?
Well, I lived in Rota, Spain before, and I may go back to there, but I was also looking at Barcelona.
Oh, Barcelona's amazing. I love Barcelona. Love it. I'd go tomorrow to Barcelona if I could. Food's amazing. The people are amazing. Just have to be careful. Everybody warned me whenever I go to Barcelona that you have to be really careful of the crime.
Right.
I did not see that to be the case. But then again, I was not partying out at the nightclubs, going out after dark because, I like to go tour during the day or grab a car and go to the coast, down the coast or whatever it may be. But look at Vodafone. And again, I think that would probably be the best bet for you. And that's Vodafone. And good luck. And don't forget, wherever you are, Mark, you can still get the Kim Komando Show. You can get us as a podcast over inside the Komando community, commercial free. And just hit komando.com and hit that community button. And bon voyage. Well, that was French. Whatever. All right, speaking of Spain, here's a joke for you. While he's there, a man decides to get a tattoo on his vacation to Spain. And just as luck, the tattoo gets infected. The local who's been showing him around notices the next day and offers to lend a hand. And he says, I know a guy who specializes in this exact thing. I'm sure he's going to help you out. He's a friend of mine. And the tourist says, really? I mean, I would never expect you to know someone who specializes specifically in tattoo-related medical issues. Well, the local tour guide turns to him and simply says, of course, nobody expects the Spanish ink physician. Oh, womp, womp. I know, that was bad. It's so easy for your phone number to be added to a marketing list, whether it's because you just purchased something or you made a phone call. But there are ways to hide your phone number when calling a business, or maybe when you're calling somebody who you don't really know. The easiest is *67. This will hide your cell phone number, yes, and also that landline if you still have one of those. You just punch in *67 followed by the number that you're calling, and that's it. And the call will receive private or blocked. Bummer is, you got to do that for every call. Now, if you want your number to be hidden all the time, you're going to change a setting on your smartphone. On your iPhone, just tap Settings, and then Phone, and then go into Show Caller ID. You're just going to make sure that you turn that off. Again, on your iPhone, it's under Settings. You can just search for Show My Caller ID, and then you're going to toggle that off. On Android, the option is pretty much in the same spot, but it's called Hide Number. Now, you can also call your carrier and tell them that you'd like to hide your phone number all the time. Or you can always just put a burner app on your phone, which is what I have. I use Google Voice if it's somebody who I don't know, or if I want to post something for sale online, or you can use Hushed. And be sure to tell 3 friends about The Kim Komando Show, because as always, knowledge is power.
Here is hour 3.
I always like to start with something interesting. And if you have anything, I'm talking about anything at all that related to Steve Jobs, you ought to put it on the auction block because they're making some big bucks with this stuff. Just this past week, a handwritten note that Steve Jobs scribbled for an Apple One ad just sold for, are you ready for it? $175,000. And it's not in the greatest condition. I saw a picture of it. It's an old, folded, crappy piece of yellow paper. And here's what it says. Apple Computer One uses 6800, 6501, 6502, 8K bytes of RAM. Oh my gosh. You know what? I think I'm going to have to start handwriting things. It might be worth some money someday. But speaking of Steve Jobs, what was Steve Jobs' favorite burger? What was his favorite burger? Anyone? A Big Mac. That's right. And on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this. It's the biggest show. It's the most trusted show about all things digital. I'm, of course, Kim Komando, your digital goddess, here with you once again. And you're about to get more tech smarts, as I like to say, because every single thing, more than ever, is now a tech thing. And to all of our newcomers, super thrilled to have you join us. And to our faithful tech enthusiasts who've been with us on this journey, it's always fantastic to see your smiling face here once again. And you can catch my award-winning show on over 420 leading radio stations across the United States. And if streaming is more your style, just punch in Komando in your most loved radio app and you'll find me. And if you're in the mood for a break from ads and you fancy a podcast or a webcast, head over to Komando.com and find that button that says Komando Community. Click away and you can enjoy a seamless ad-free experience. And a special hello goes out to all of our listeners in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force in 175 different countries who are joining us here for the Kim Komando Show on the American Forces Network Radio, serving more than 375,000 American servicemen and women. And all of us here at the Kim Komando Show, we give you a big old thank you and salute. All right, every single day I visit at least 35 different websites. I read it all from top to bottom to make sure that you and I know exactly what's happening in the tech world. And here are 5 things that you need to know that are happening right now. And no one likes calls from telemarketers, right? Boy, that do not call list. Oh, wow, that thing's smoking. That thing's great. It works. It doesn't work. So if you're still getting spam calls from companies, here's why. You gave them permission to. There's this sneaky little practice called consent farming. These so-called consent farms, they masquerade as job search websites or comparison shopping platforms or just a great app. And then you visit them, you install it, and then they put all these tempting offers right in front of you. You can get a gift card, you get a freebie, you can do all this. But there's a catch. You actually agreed to some legalese that appears mundane and that no one ever reads, right? It's buried in all that fine print is a clause that says you're okay with telemarketers and robocallers just calling you up. And so just another reminder, if you've got apps on your phone, things that you subscribe to, things that you signed up for, and you're not using them anymore, you definitely want to make sure that you delete it, remove it, whatever you need to do. Because telemarketing, it's not a profession, it's a calling. All right, number 2 on our list, an Airbnb nightmare. Professor Alex Moore gave her Vancouver Airbnb a 4-star review. Not too bad, but it wasn't a good enough review for the host. It actually kind of ticked him off because he had a 5.0 review, and because she gave him a crappy review, it went down to 4.9, and that just set him off. The Airbnb host told Alex if she didn't remove her rating in 48 hours, he's going to track her down. He even said, that's when the fun begins. Ooh, that's scary. So what could Alex do to protect her privacy? He had her pick, address, number, after all, and thankfully she called the police. The guy got booted off of Airbnb. But here, what are some other things that you should keep in mind? You don't want to overshare with your host. They need some information, not everything. Make sure that all your communications is always done within the app because this way they can keep track of everything. And if the owner is ever threatening, just call the police like Alex did. Number 3 on our list is about identity theft. Lives are hanging in the balance. It's gotten so bad with identity theft. This is really something, folks. 16% of identity theft victims are contemplating suicide. Wow. Isn't that so sad? And the scammers have gotten super savvy. The CEO of the Identity Theft Resource Center says once almost laughable bad spoofed websites, texts, and emails, there are now letter perfect. And they've been joined by highly sophisticated voicemail and direct contact attacks. So who's at risk? Mostly women over the age of 45 and people earning less than $50,000 a year. About 41% had their identity stolen more than once. Oh my gosh, it's horrifying. So what can you do to protect yourself from identity theft? Use strong, unique passwords. We talk about that all the time. 2-factor authentication, yes. Something looks suspicious, turn it over to the FTC. Don't believe anybody. Don't believe the scammers. And, finally, freeze your credit. I think that's something that everybody should be doing nowadays. Just go ahead and freeze it. If you're not sure how to do that, we've got all the steps, all the links that you could possibly need over on the website at komando.com. Next on our list, coming in at number 4, is another warning. Let's say that you're suddenly thrown into a situation where you have to perform CPR. You're not really sure how to do it. The worst thing that you can do is to actually ask your smart assistant for help. Because here's what's happening. Researchers asked voice assistants questions regarding CPR. Out of 32 different voice assistant responses, only 9 of the 32 said to call 911. That's it. Just 9. What the assistant said, I can find information for you about this on the internet. Here's what the website says at the American Red Cross. All right, if you're not sure how to do CPR, just head over to the Red Cross website. You can take a refresher course. It's really easy. You could watch a YouTube video now just as a reminder, because maybe you haven't done CPR, took the class within the last 15 years. And so again, if somebody is having a cardiac situation, don't ask your smart assistant for help. Just go ahead and dial 911. And finally this, wouldn't it be awesome to have a twin? Okay. All right, this is not a Disney movie pipe dream. It's over at Google. They've just announced some new tools, Google Duet AI. It can take notes for you during your video calls. If you're late to a meeting, it will give you all the updates about what's happening. You can talk to a chatbot about what you missed. It will give you a summary and then send it to all your documents. It says that it can even attend the meeting for you. Wow, isn't that something? It just reminds me of a twin, really. I mean, I don't have a twin, but back at Arizona State University, I actually failed a calculus exam because I was sitting between 2 identical twins. I mean, what are the odds between 2 identical twins? And I'll tell you, it was impossible to differentiate between them. Oh, womp, womp, yeah. All right, let's start with Dennis in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Well, basically, I'm a kind of a tech person, so when I noticed that your column in the USA Today, I really got to reading that every day, and then I realized, wait a minute, you've got these newsletters, you got the show, so I started listening more and more to it and reading, and I get newsletters every day, so it's been really good. I enjoy the tech hacks, the tech news, and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, really that's so great! Thank you. It's a lot of work, as I'm sure you know. To put that out twice a day. Really isn't, but I appreciate your kind words because it's, we had a big bump in traffic and subscribers to the newsletter the last couple of weeks. We increased the number of subscribers almost 23% over the last 2 weeks.
Wow, that's good.
It's actually, I know, I was super excited. 22.7%. I was like, wow, that's whatever lever that we pulled, whatever we wrote about, people are sharing it, and don't forget you have that referral link on the bottom. So
I've been using it. I know that I heard a little earlier that you were talking about people using your information and not giving you credit. But what I do is I excerpt it, I tell it where I got it from, and I put my referral link on the bottom.
Oh, that's smart. That's smart. You know what? Keep referring because we haven't announced it yet. But we are going to be giving away a free laptop, Windows or Mac, so to the person who gets up there. So keep referring it out. But how can I help you?
Basically, like I was mentioning, I'm into tech. I mean, I've got smart light bulbs that turn on at certain times of day. I've got Alexa in 2 or 3, 4 places around the house. I've got tech-controlled garage door so I can close it when I'm not there, open it or whatever. So I decided when I heard about smart thermostats and my power company sent me an email, they said that there was a rebate that I could get for $50, and Amazon had their smart thermostat for $63. So I figured, $13 for a thermostat, that's pretty good. Plus I'll be able to program it a lot easier. But and I had already ordered it, and I sent the information to a good friend of mine, and he immediately sent me like 20 different newsletter or articles about how people can access it, how the power companies get in without letting you know and shut you down for this reason or that reason. And so basically I just wanted to know is, number one, when I signed for the rebate, was I also signing to give them access? And the other thing is, can they do this? Can they get in without my permission?
All very good questions. If part of the rebate enrolled you in what they like to call the smart grid, okay, then you are giving them a lot of power, no pun intended, is that you probably opted into an energy-saving program. That's the way they sell it to you. And with this energy-saving program, when the grid gets too loaded, they may start throttling you back. So if maybe you have your air conditioner set at 78, they may go in there and say, whoopsies, we got a lot of people on the grid right now, so we don't want things to go down, so we're going to make sure that we just put you up to 82. And you're like, what the heck happened? It's getting hot in here. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, so what you're doing when you get that rebate is that you are giving them the ability to see your usage. And they may actually give you a report afterwards, though, that says, you could save X number of dollars if you did your laundry at 9 o'clock at night. Instead, it looks like you're doing it at 11 o'clock in the morning, right? And so they have the peak and the off-peak hours. And so you have access to that type of data. But depending upon I'm not familiar with your power company's policies, but what I have seen, especially in Texas, okay, because they always have trouble with their power grids, and in California, because, the power always goes out in California for one reason or another. They can use the smart thermostats to control the demand, which makes sense. You know this. I mean, you know how it works, right? They can just hop in and do it. So you might want to just look at their FAQs, see what's actually printed on their website. I could, you could call them up But this is a type of question that I would want to see in writing what their policy is. I don't know if I would depend upon a rep on the other line to say, oh, no, Mr. Customer, this is for your benefit. We love you. We just want to look out for you. We want to make sure that when you want to play pickleball, that the lights will come on at night. Right? So, make sense?
Yeah, definitely makes sense. Now, is there a possibility of anyone else accessing it?
Oh, I don't think so. I mean,
okay.
If it's from Amazon, you said Amazon. Amazon will have access to all the data. And with Amazon, you have a Ring doorbell?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so with Amazon, you have the whole sidewalk. You know what that is?
Right,
Do you know what that is? Okay. Do you know what that is?
I did. It's vague in my mind.
Okay.
Let's put it that way.
Okay. That's okay. What Amazon has done, this is genius, Dennis. This is just genius. I'm like, oh my gosh, why didn't I think about this? Is they came up with something, it's a technology called Sidewalk. And your Ring doorbell is automatically signed up for it. What it does is it takes a little tiny bit of your internet bandwidth and it shares it with everybody else in your neighborhood. The way that they sell it is that, oh, well, Dennis, you are Mr. Tech there in Myrtle Beach, so we know that you would like to have a smart mailbox. And so in order for us to get the signal out to the smart mailbox, we have to create a mesh network. And so that's what they've done. And so I would bet dimes to donuts that the smart thermostat from Amazon is also part of this whole mesh network. And whether or not that data is being sold off, given, whatever it may be, what you want to do is you can always get into your privacy settings and start muscling around, nosing around in there, and then just start turning things off. We have the directions to turn off the data tracking in your Ring video doorbell, as well as, say, your Echoes and anything else. It seems like Alexa connected over on the website at komando.com. And Dennis, thank you for your call today. What a really smart thing to do is to put all of your Internet of Things stuff, talking about your cameras and your doorbells and your lights, and of course the list goes on and on. You want to put them all on a guest network. So this way, if any of them get hacked, that your primary files are always, always safe. And joining us right now on the Kim Komando Show is the one and only, our amazing content queen, Ali Seligman. Hello there, Ali.
Hi, Kim.
So let me ask you a question. Are you one of these folks who can go on a 2-week European vacation with just your purse, a backpack, or maybe just one carry-on bag? Is that possible for you to do that?
I mean, possible. Would I enjoy it? Probably not. Would I want to? Would I choose to? Probably not. No, I'm a packer. I'm a big packer. This was actually a conversation I recently had with friends. Like, are you that person that brings basically all of your underwear on a long vacation? Or are you that crazy person who has like a pair a day? That's not enough.
Oh, you know what? It's the old camping joke. You wear it one day, you turn it out inside out, you wear it another day, and you have it back and forward. And so, no. When I travel, I always have like 2 bags, and I have my purse, and then I have a backpack, whatever it is. I mean, like, I am coming through. Yeah. And anytime you start talking about traveling, it's, luggage always pops up. I mean, I think I told you the story that we were in London and we were on our way to Rome. So we get to Rome, and of course the baggage didn't come. We were on British Airways. And so my bag comes through and I'm like, well, I'm okay. Not so much for you, Barry, but it's all right. Okay. And so, I'm calling, trying to figure out what it is. And I get to the PR department at British Airways. And I'm like, you got to find the guy's bag. It's been 3 days. And they're like, Kim, you don't understand. We're trying to find the bag. But we have this massive holdup of all the luggage. And I'm like, no, you have to understand, like, we are buying clothes for him. And it's like, it's killing us. And, we need to find the bag. So sure enough, in Europe, they actually put newspapers at your door at the hotel room. I mean, this is like complimentary.
Okay.
And so the Daily Mail slips under the door. And I look at it and I'm like, that's your luggage, Barry. It's on the front page of the Daily Mail. I found it. So I took a picture of it and I sent it over to the PR person at British Airways. I'm like, I found the bag. Look what I found. It's on
what
the front
are the
page.
chances? Only you. That's the most Kim Komando story I've ever heard. That's incredible.
But now, anytime we go, we put air tags in everything. I mean,
yeah, smart.
Because this way, if you do lose the bag, or I wouldn't say you lose the bag. If, they lose the bag, and at least you can say, here's the bag. This is where it is.
Exactly.
But let's talk about the big question is always, when do we buy the tickets? When is the best time to buy the tickets? Because, you always know, and I always know this is me. I spent the most money to have my butt on that plane than anybody else. I'm sure of it. Okay? Because, again, in true Kim Komando fashion, and my sister Christine, we were at dinner with some friends, and she's like, yeah, Kim will just call me up and say, can we let's go to Greece in 2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks is rough for international. Yeah, you're going to be paying more than anyone on that plane. You're right. For international, you really want to be like 10 weeks out. You need... Yeah. Otherwise, the price is going to get jacked up. So I would do that one pretty far out. In general, you don't have to plan that far ahead for domestic flights. The last numbers we have from Expedia, it's like 28 to 35 days. The hard part is when we get to the holidays, right? And
sure.
For everybody that just said, how dare she speak of the holidays? It's barely September, and yet here we are talking about flights on Christmas. I know. But really, you have to start thinking about that now because they're going to be here before you know it. And Google Flights, they just put out some really good new research. Last year, this is really interesting to me. So last year, if you bought your flight about 22 days before the holidays, you were getting the good price. This year, it's 71 days. Isn't that crazy?
Why is that? I mean, is it because they're cutting back on the planes? They're not.
They didn't give real answers for that. Yes, I'm sure that's part of it. I think probably more people, each year as we come out of the pandemic are traveling. Travel's weird right now. It's really weird. That's my best answer for you. Yeah. So that sweet spot is, they say, about 54 to 78 days. So if you want to fly out the Friday before Christmas, that's December 22nd, buy your ticket around October 12th. So go put a calendar reminder. October, start monitoring the prices. If you want to fly on Christmas Day, which is actually a good way to save money if you don't mind, and the airports aren't as busy, you're going to book on October 15th. Instead of going through and checking all the time yourself, who has time to do that?
Nobody wants to do that.
No. Set up an alert. I do this through Google Flights. There are lots of different ways. You can use any of the travel sites, Expedia, Kayak, all those. I think it's easy to do it through Google Flights, and that's where I do it. What about if you are, we were just talking about this, Kim, a cruise person?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, Allie, I would never be on a cruise. I know that a lot of people love to cruise.
They love it.
And they think it's fabulous. A good friend of mine, Janie, she takes the Queen Mary from New York City to London for 8 days. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to get on a plane for 6 hours. But she loves it. She said, you just plant yourself there and then you unpack, and then her and her husband, they go to the captain's dinner, they exercise, they gamble, whatever it is. And then she said by the time she gets to London, they've been acclimated to the time zone.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think Barry says it the best. Whenever somebody says like, hey, do you guys ever go on a cruise? His answer, and I've heard it, I don't know how many times in my life because we've been married forever, is he will always look at him and say, you don't understand, Kim. She will claw her way off of that cruise ship after the first hour.
An hour. He only gives you an hour.
That's it.
That's actually a good icebreaker, I think, because there really are two types of people, right? Cruise people and non-cruise people. We happen to both be non-cruise people, but for those of you who love them, you need to book early too. Well, there's actually two scenarios here. If you're trying to get on the hottest new cruise, like if you want that sweet new Disney cruise ship that everybody wants, you need to book that as soon as the prices come out. It's going to book up. You're not going to be able to find one of those bargain basement, hey, we have some empty cabin rates. So if it's a really hot destination or a really sought after cruise, book it right away. You can wait though, if it is not high travel season, so earlier in the year or even late in the year, or if you don't care where you stay, right? Or if you don't care exactly where you go. If you're just down to go on a cruise anywhere you want, fine. Maybe you just care, all right, it's leaving from Miami. Well, if you can be a little bit flexible with where you go, what kind of cabin you get, how long the trip is, all that stuff, you can find the best rates. There are sites for this, of course. Shipmate is a good one. Cruise Critic. These are really good sites and apps that track the prices for you, just like Google Flights does for airline prices. So check those out. They can give you the updates on when to buy.
Well, so Janie was telling me about this because she was still trying to convince me to go on a cruise.
Oh, Janie, okay. It's a lost cause.
So she was leaving San Diego and she was going to San Francisco. And she stopped in Santa Barbara. Mm-hmm. And so I picked her up and we did things like, it's like, okay, we're going to go be like tourists in Montecito. And so we did drive-bys like by Hagen and Meghan's place, Harry and Meghan's place. We did drive by Ellen DeGeneres and Gwyneth Paltrow's.
That's
and
fun.
We stood at Oprah's gates, which are just massive. But she goes on what they call relocation cruises. And so they needed to get this boat from San Diego to San Francisco.
Okay.
So the price is she was telling me, price is half of what it normally is. And the boat is only 20 to 25% full.
Oh.
So she said you have 7 people waiting on you.
So this is, you don't leave and come back to the same destination. You leave
Correct.
from one place and go back to
yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to fly anyway, because a lot of us don't live in places where we can leave right on a cruise, like Arizona. If you're going to fly anyway, that's a great idea.
Yeah, and she said and they also try out new entertainment.
Oh.
And they try out new dishes, and she's like, this is the way to go, girlfriend. I'm still I'm not sure this is going to be for me. But back to travel, Wednesdays are the cheapest day to fly. Is that still the case? And then always, always, always get the earliest flight that you can.
Oh, absolutely. There is such a better chance of you actually getting on that flight because the cancellations and delays don't have time to stack up. So yes, book early. Wednesday is usually the cheapest day to fly. Sundays are generally the cheapest or the best days to buy tickets. That's when you find the best prices. So book on a Sunday, travel on a Wednesday, do it early. And if you are traveling for Christmas, I'm sorry, but you need to start thinking about that pretty darn soon here.
Exactly. 100%. Of course, as always, folks, is that if you're like, what did they just say? And how do I get more information? You just hit the website. That's komando.com. Allie, thanks for being here. Always a great job.
Thanks.
All right, let's talk about ways that you can get unbiased, independent news as the election season is heating up, okay? Today, less than 10 companies control 90% of the news media. Wow. When you're looking for news without a spin, you have to go to particular websites. I'm talking about the Associated Press and Reuters. Also, check out the Wall Street Journal. I really like the way that the writers are balanced. They seem to tell you both sides of the story and let you formulate your own opinion. Now, for a global perspective of news that's happening in the United States, drop by the BBC website. And aside from posts, you can also watch news videos on all these sites, and you can cast them to your TV as well. All right, back to the phones we go with Dave in Iowa.
Hey, I love the show. I don't get to listen to you all the time, but I try to get on whenever I can. So I do appreciate the info you kick out, and the biggest reason why I'm calling to try to get some good info. So, hey, the wife is everybody's always told her that she should be a travel agent. She loves digging in information, digging up, finding trips, plans our trips and all that. So she became an online travel agent. So kind of what we need now, she needs to figure out a website, something to make her a website.
Okay.
So we need a website to do that. And then also to print out all these itineraries and stuff, we need a good printer, scanner, copier.
Okay, let's start with the website. Fortunately, you don't need to be a pocket-protected nerd anymore to build a website. Probably the easiest one is just to use a service like Wix or Weebly or Squarespace. And these are companies that you basically fill out templates. And so you find a template that you like, and then you can have it as part of their domain, or you can have it as your own domain, which I would suggest that if this is her business, she gets her own domain. And so that this way it's easier for people to remember. And then as her business takes off, you can start directing people to a website, and just make sure that it's an easy name. And those are really hard to come by now because we've been registering domains now for, almost 30 years. But do your best. And if you can, make sure that you get a .com. Although I know you can get a .co and all these other ones, but a .com seems to be the best way still even today. And so they're going to charge you anywhere between $20 and $40 a month for that. And then there are also some plugins. So as you start looking at these various website building companies, look at the add-ons for, say, I want to schedule a call to talk to your wife. I want to fill out this itinerary, or I want to tell you these are the places where I want to go. And so when we call, that maybe she'll have some information about it. Okay. Now, as far as a good printer, scanner, copier, that does everything, right? Is that you're looking at something like, I'm going to send you links to these, is that, of course, you want it wireless. And, HP makes a color LaserJet, and that's about $550. Of course, the downside to that is that color laser cartridges are super expensive, but they are fast printers, up to 22 pages per minute, and also does two-sided printing, and then you can put at least 50 pieces of paper in there. Now, if price is an issue and she's going to be printing a lot, okay, then believe it or not, you're going to spend more for the printer, but you're going to be using ink instead of toner. And so an Epson EcoTank Pro, it's about $800. It's an all-in-one, has these super tanks, and it does about 25 pages per minute. And so, again, we'll send you links to both of these and let you decide which one that you are into. But for, a business that's just starting out, of course, I know you want to conserve money, but just take a look at that Epson EcoTank, because I think it's going to be probably the one that you want for the long term, simply because it uses ink instead of those expensive toner cartridges. And if you need any help along the way with the business, Dave, just let me know. Happy to talk to your wife. Because I just have a passion for entrepreneurs. I guess, being one, starting a company, we have no debt, we have no investors. It's been a long road, but I've learned a lot of lessons along the way that I'm just happy to pass along. And Dave, once again, thank you for your call. Hey, if you're planning a home makeover, or maybe you're just moving into a brand new space, in any case, one thing's for sure, putting pictures up on the wall just right, it can be a never-ending challenge. But hang tight, because there are some ways that you can put them up directly using your phone. Okay, there's an app called Hang-A-Pic. Wow, this is amazing. Whether you have 4 pictures or more, single, double hooks, there's no problem. You just input the desired distance, say 5.5 inches apart, and boom, oh my gosh, the app will totally guide you where to put all the nails. This is wonderful. You can look at the instructions on your phone, or you can print them out. It's really smart, super handy. Now, what if you're just hanging one picture? All right, iPhone owners, that's where you're going to tap open the Measure app and select Level at the bottom right. So your phone, yes, is now a handy level. Now on Android, you're going to search for Bubble Level. That's in the Google app or any browser, and you can also use it as a regular level. I mean, this is just tech making your life just super easy. And if you love these short tips, make sure that you get our podcast, The Daily Tech Update. It's 2 minutes, which is just perfect when you're taking the dog out in the morning, you're brushing your teeth, you're making your first cup of coffee, because you're going to get the top news story of the day, and you're going to get a quick tip just like this. Again, just 2 minutes. So wherever you get your podcasts, just search for Komando with a K, of course, and then that's where you can subscribe or follow the Daily Tech Update. And while you're there, why don't you go ahead and give Kim Komando today a try as well. Hey, thanks for being here. Be sure to tell 3 friends about the Kim Komando Show, because knowledge is power.